Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I recently finished watching The Spy on Netflix, and inspired by it, I decided to compile a list of true spy stories. Now, since these are stories about the shadowy world of espionage, hence the actual lives of people involved in these operations are shrouded with mystery. It's nothing at all like the flashy Bond movies. Nevertheless, I tried to build this list based on information available in public domain. So yeah, without delay, let's get started. At number 5, we have the enigmatic story of Mata Hari. For the past 100 years, Mata Hari has been revered as the ultimate femme fatale, the seductive, glamorous, exotic dancer who spied for the Germans during World War I and caused the deaths of thousands of Allied soldiers. And even today, more than a century after her death, she continues to capture the imaginations of people around the world long after she met her fate. Born in 1876, Margarita Gertrude MacLeod broke all the rules of the early 20th century. She was the eldest of 4 children of Adam Zeal and his first wife. Growing up, she had an affluent and lavish early childhood that included exclusive schools until the age of 13. However, within a few years, Margarita's father went bankrupt in 1889. Her parents divorced and the family fell apart. She was married for a brief time and had 2 children, but the marriage was an overall disappointment. She soon moved to Paris in 1903, and it was in Paris that she reinvented herself as an Indian temple dancer, thoroughly trained in the erotic dances of the East, and was soon luring audiences in thousands as she performed in Paris, Berlin, Vienna, Madrid, and other European capitals. She also attracted a number of highly placed aristocratic lovers willing to reward her handsomely for the pleasure of her company. Now, the facts regarding her espionage activities remain obscure, and with the outbreak of World War I, things became even more clandestine. Mata Hari's cross-border liaisons with German political and military figures came to the attention of the French secret police, and she was placed under surveillance. Brought in for questioning, the French reportedly induced her to travel to neutral Spain in order to develop relationships with the German naval and army attachés in Madrid and report any intelligence back to Paris. However, in the murky world of espionage, the French suspected her of being a double agent. In February 1917, Mata Hari returned to Paris and was immediately arrested, charged with being a German spy. Her trial in July revealed some damning evidences that the dancer was unable to adequately explain. She was convicted and sentenced to death. Mata Hari was not bound, and she was not blindfolded. She stood gazing steadfastly at her executioners. When the priest, the nun, and her lawyer stepped away, her last words, "I am ready." At number 4, we have the case of Aldrich Ames. Aldrich Ames is considered as one of the most damaging moles in CIA history. He compromised numerous CIA assets in the Soviet Union, some of whom were executed. It all started when, in the spring of 1985, after an alarming number of CIA assets run against the Soviet Union disappeared in rapid succession. CIA officials formed a small 5-member team called the Spy Hunters to figure out what or who was behind these strange disappearances. An extensive search ultimately yielded the answer: Ames, who was initially working in the agency's Soviet counterintelligence division, began spying for the USSR in 1985. Ames' position gave him the perfect cover because he was authorized to meet the Soviet officers for official purposes. However, it was his extravagant lifestyle that brought him under the task force suspicion in November 1989. The big breakthrough came in August 1992 when the officials discovered Ames made large bank account deposits after every meeting with a particular Soviet official. The FBI took over the investigation and used surveillance, as well as evidences discovered in Ames's house and on his home computer, to build the case. He was arrested outside his home on February 21, 1994. During his 9 years of spying, Ames reportedly received payments from the Soviet KGB that totaled $2.5 million. And It is often said that the KGB kept another 2.1 million earmarked for Ames in a Moscow bank. Ames is often considered to be one of the highest paid spies in American history. His betrayal led to the execution of 10 Soviet officials working for the CIA. Reportedly, he revealed the name of every US agent operating in the Soviet Union. Ames was convicted of espionage and sentenced to life in prison, and his wife received a 5-year sentence for tax evasion and conspiracy to commit espionage. At number 3, we have the Russian spy Alexander Litvinenko. This mysterious case is known not for the life of this ex-KGB agent, but the circumstances under which he died. His slow and agonizing death revealed the true nature of the secretive and the puzzling life of these undercover agents. Alexander Litvinenko was a British naturalized Russian defector and a former officer of the Russian Secret Service who specialized in tackling organized crimes. However, he soon turned into a Kremlin critic and in 1998 accused the government of ordering the assassination of the Russian tycoon and oligarch Boris Berezovsky. He was later arrested and released in 1999, and he fled with his family to London and was granted asylum in the United Kingdom, where he worked as a journalist, writer, and consultant for the British intelligence services. During his time in London, he kept a low profile, but continued attacking the Putin government. On November of 2006, Litvinenko suddenly fell ill and was hospitalized in what was established as a case of poisoning by radioactive polonium-210. He died from the poisoning on November 23rd, but in the weeks leading up to his death, Litvinenko gave extensive interviews and openly accused the Russian government of orchestrating the attack. Now, the events leading up to this are a matter of controversy, spawning numerous theories relating to his poisoning and death. It was established that Litvinenko met with 2 former agents early on the day he fell ill, Dmitry Koftan and Andrei Logovoy. Though both denied any wrongdoing, a leaked US diplomatic cable revealed that Koftan had left polonium traces in the house and car he had used in Hamburg. An inquiry report released in 2016 finally revealed that Litvinenko was killed by 2 Russian agents, Andrei Logovoy and Dmitry Koftan, and that there was a strong probability they were acting on behalf of the Russian Secret Service. The Kremlin dismissed the inquiry as a joke and a whitewash. Before his death, Litvinenko said, "You may succeed in silencing one man, but the howl of protest from around the world, Mr. Putin, will reverberate in your ears for the rest of your life." At number 2, we have the Limping Lady. Virginia Hall may have had just one leg, but no other covert operative tormented the Nazis quite like the Limping Lady. Her exploits as an American spy during World War II more than justified the Nazis' fearful response to her. In fact, the Nazis assigned their entire stable of double agents to gather any information on this mysterious woman and to eliminate her if she was found. But the Gestapo and its senior officer in charge of hunting Virginia Hall, Klaus Barbie, never managed to uncover her true nationality or her real name. Virginia Hall was born in Baltimore on April 6, 1906, to a wealthy family with a quiet pastoral farm. Her peers remembered her as the most original of her class. While abroad, she earned a diploma in economics and international law and became fluent in French, Italian, and German. She clandestinely entered France, posing as a New York Post reporter in August of 1941. By November, Hall had established a secret network of loyal French citizens codenamed Heckler. Heckler was an incredible success, as it assisted in the escape of several British pilots downed by the Germans, and provided information to the Allies and introduced several new operatives into France. However, a few months later, the Nazi Gestapo had already begun to hunt for the Limping Lady. Barbie was able to capture many Heckler agents, but not Virginia Hall herself. After the end of the war, she was awarded by both the French and the British government. The British made her a member of the Order of the British Empire and presented her with the Distinguished Service Cross. Ever the spy, Virginia Hall continued to work for the CIA as an analyst until her retirement at the age of 60 in 1966. She lived out the rest of her days in her home state of Maryland before dying in 1982 at the age of 76. At number 1, we have Ashraf Marwan, often considered as the 20th century greatest spy. This Egyptian billionaire and son-in-law of one of the greatest leaders of the Arab world, Gamal Abdel Nasser, died on 27th of June 2007 when he fell to his death from the balcony of a London flat, and with his death, answer to one of the biggest riddles in modern Middle Eastern intelligence remains elusive. Born in 1944 to a family of high-ranking officials in Egypt, Marwan studied chemical engineering at Cairo University. After graduation at the age of 21, he met Nasser's daughter Mona in 1965 and soon got married. According to reports, Nasser was suspicious of Marwan's intentions and may have treated him with distrust until his death in 1970. Nasser's death shortly afterwards in September 1970 restores balance to Marwan's life. Soon he gains the trust of Nasser's successors, Anwar al-Sadat. He was appointed as secretary to the head of information affairs and was given privileges and authorities that would both puzzle and even astonish high-ranking officials in Egypt, and reportedly became stronger than any other state official, second only to President Sadat himself. And soon enough, Marwan gained the confidence of Mossad, Israeli intelligence agency. He gave Israel enough information to secure their trust, and reportedly thus was able to mislead Israel regarding the crucial timing of Egypt's attack in the 1973 Yom Kippur War. Militarily, this war was a stalemate, but practically, it changed the map and politics of the Middle East. After 1973 war, Marwan continued his way to the top, and strangely, he was considered a hero for his contribution in the 1973 war in both Egypt as well as Israel. Following Sadat's assassination in October 1981, Marwan left Egypt and started a business career in London. He gained a reputation as a mysterious man who did not play according to the rules of the city. Reportedly, Marwan continued working for the Mossad until 1998. His identity as a spy for Israel was revealed in December 2002 by the London-based Israeli historian Aaron Bregman, who claimed that Marwan was a double agent who had deceived the Israelis in the 1973 war and the main culprit in the intelligence fiasco prior to the war. There is a brilliant Netflix documentary on Bergman's book, The Spy Who Fell to the Earth, and Bregman himself features in it. Please do go check this documentary. It gives a glimpse to the mysterious life of this enigmatic character named Ashraf Marwan and the critical role he played in one of the most important episodes of modern history. In the end, though considered by some as one of the greatest spies of the 20th century, there has been much said about this man, who was mysterious in his life and death. So this was my list of some of the most mysterious and enigmatic true spy stories. Please let me know your thoughts and post your comments in the comment section. So thank you guys for watching this video, and please do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you. See you next time. Bye bye.